This is CKOU, the new KCountry 93.7, today's best country.
It is 8:15 here on the Morning Drive with Dan, the new KCountry 93.7, today's best country. A little cool out there right now, 6 degrees. It just feels a little chilly, I guess, but it will warm up to about 19 degrees later this afternoon with a mixture of sun and cloud. Thank goodness, much better weather than it was on Saturday. And actually, we had a pretty good stretch of weather there over the weekend, following the massive storm that rolled through parts of southern Ontario, most of southern Ontario actually, and into Quebec as well. Unfortunately, 10 deaths reported as a result of that storm, and that stretches right from southern Ontario to Quebec. Somehow, no deaths reported in the Uxbridge area, despite the devastation that was wreaked on the area by the storm. Joining us right now is the mayor of the township of Uxbridge, Mr. Dave Barton. Good morning, sir. How are you?
Doing as well as we can expect here. Dan, thanks for calling me this morning.
Yeah, so let's get caught up. Thank God there were no deaths reported. No injuries either. Were there any serious injuries?
There weren't any serious injuries. Obviously, a few people went into the Uxbridge Cottage Hospital to deal with maybe one broken bone. So we're very fortunate from that perspective, especially when you move around our community right now. The devastation is just unreal.
I was going to say, because it is not reflective in what you see when you try and drive around. Now, the roads are passable again, but huge trees everywhere. That was the thing that caught my attention, just the amount of trees that came down. Is there any estimation of how long it's going to take to be able to clean the trees away?
There's no real way to estimate this kind of that type of information right now. All I can tell you is that everybody's working together to get this done. Neighbors are helping neighbors. We've got tree service companies all over the place. So we've had every level of government. So yesterday, our MP Jennifer O'Connell was in town. Peter Bethenfalvey and I walked all over town, and then Premier Ford was in town as well. Everyone's offering to help. We've got hydro crews everywhere. We've got Rogers trucks. Everyone's trying to get comms up and to get this cleaned up as quickly as possible, including the municipality. So we're assisting our residents everywhere we can.
So as far as infrastructure, what was the blow to infrastructure?
So we'll talk about municipal infrastructure first. We had a building down at our museum. Our arena roof blew off and then landed into high voltage lines that they're still trying to get fixed. They've been working on that for almost 24 hours. And then single family homes, multi-residential. We've got 2 churches that are extremely badly damaged and then one other that's damaged. There's an awful lot of devastation on the ground here in Uxbridge.
Right. So right now it is still a point of assessing some of the damages for those areas that were hit the hardest?
Yeah, and we've had crews from Georgina. Margaret Quirk stepped up and is helping there. So she sent us some building inspectors that these guys have been working extremely hard to help us out. Our own crews, and we've pulled in some consultants as well to assess the really big damage. And those are the homes that are unsafe to enter right now in the buildings, including a couple of ours. So we've issued orders on those. And then the big thing is just getting power reconnected again. That's sort of what's holding us up, because with electricity comes communications again, and it means that we will better understand who needs help and how to give it to them.
Now, I understand that there are pockets that are getting power back on from time to time, but still some major areas without power?
Yeah, so most of the eastern side of Uxbridge, we still don't have power there. We just got power restored at our fire hall. Our hospital's still on emergency backup. I just got a message from them. So we expect more and more people to get connected today. But there's an awful lot of work to get done, and we have the right people on the ground to help us get that done.
And I was talking to Ginger Jackson. She was saying that the McDonald's, both in Uxbridge and Port Perry, managed to reopen today. So some of the businesses starting to reopen,
which is phenomenal. And then quick shout out to a couple people, if you don't mind, Dan. One is McDonald's. So not only they pulled in a reefer trailer to make sure that their food was safe, but they also offered space to any other business in the community to make sure that they didn't have too much food spoilage. So, Ginger Jackson, Sandy Jackson, they continue to step up. Then a big shout out, if you don't mind me saying this, Doug Williamson. We had no communications. We were an emergency backup at our fire hall, which is where we were managing this disaster. But we lost all communications, all cell, all data. And I gave Doug Williamson a call, and he came by, set us up with a fully redundant system that was satellite based, so that we could manage through the disaster. We got our phone lines back up, and we were actually able to communicate to the region, the province, and everyone else. So, Doug Williamson, thank you. We couldn't have made it through this without you.
Now, is this one of those things that you're going to sit back at some point and reflect and look at things like that?
Oh, for sure. And right away, and we have a list. Our CAO is amazing. So Christy has a list of lessons learned, and that list started kind of 15 minutes in. We were very prepared for emergencies, but there's always things you don't think of. And we will make sure we communicate to that information to all of our surrounding municipalities and others as well on how to deal with an emergency when you lose all services.
We talked about the devastation of some of the buildings, and some buildings may be condemned. I'm not sure whether it's a building that will be condemned, but there were a few apartment buildings that were heavily damaged, and families have not been able. They can go in and take stuff out, but that's it. They're not able to reside in those places. Is there anything we can do to help folks like that, and is there anything we can do to help the situation?
So the best way to help is to sort of stay out of the way from boots on the ground. We have a lot of people working. The last thing we need is people in the area. So, watch media channels. If you're from outside of town, watch media channels. We're encouraging neighbors to help neighbors. So if you have a chainsaw and your neighbor has a tree down, safely help them. It is a great way to assist. I'm not aware of any GoFundMes, but there's a lot of people with a lot of experience who are looking to launch some things. So kind of watch groups like Rotary in the coming days as we manage getting through this significant emergency.
So this is just strictly cleanup effort right now.
Yeah, and from a municipal standpoint, we're laser focused on public infrastructure. So we want to make sure that people have power, they have, they keep water, that our fire department are fully staffed and have everything that they need. And with all those things gets life back to normal, gets kids back in school, and things are a little bit better on the ground here in Uxbridge.
I know, you've only been mayor for, one term, but from talking to others or, hearing from experiences in the past, is this one, if not the most devastating storm ever hit that area? Dan, you and we've been in Uxbridge for a long time. I've never seen anything like this. We've had storms like this hit, rural areas where it just, takes down everything in its path. But for it to run through an urban area like Uxbridge, again, I've never seen it. We've seen it in places like Barrie in the past, even last year. But this was a very significant event, and we have so many people hurting today because of the devastation of that storm. So again, if somebody is to keep watching social media for clubs like the Rotary Club, there's nowhere really to step up. I'm thinking about even, I guess, individually, the United Church lost most of its sanctuary in losing its roof, and I would imagine that, they're going to be struggling and trying to make repairs.
Yeah, and that's the information we don't know yet. We have open lines of communication with our friends from the United Church and other areas as well. There's going to be a huge amount of need, but right now it's more about ensuring that we get services up and running, things like that, so that we can move through this section into, the larger event, which is repairing all the damaged, buildings and replanting trees. There's just so much to do that I've tried to focus on the next 8 hours at this point.
Right. And for that cleanup, I know I was talking to you yesterday. It's important to note for people, especially if they got branches and tree limbs and things like that. Normally, you have to cut it up into small bite-sized pieces for a collection. You were saying in this case, it's the opposite because it's easier to mulch?
Right. So we're doing a couple different things. So the bigger the better. It makes it easier for crews to deal with. We're going to have chipper crews running up and down residential streets. I don't know if it's going to take a day or a month to clean all that up with those chipper crews, but we will have people on site. And then our friends from Sanford Sand and Gravel or Maple Leaf Mulch, they have a couple of different names. They're going to be coming by and picking up the really big stuff that they can reach from the curb. So those 100-year-old trees that are difficult to deal with from a chainsaw perspective, they're going to be picking those up with cranes and dropping them in and then creating mulch out of it. So that will greatly assist with the cleanup.
And the township website, which you will be able to access through our website here at KCountry and 1055, the website as well. That's the spot to go?
Yeah, Uxbridge.ca is the best place to go for information. And then for people that don't have data yet, our local newspaper, the Cosmos, are printing a 2-page ad with a day early that will have kind of answers to all those questions. What to do with waste, what to do with food waste, things like that. We're going to have bins set up at the senior center and at the arena so that people can drop not like tree branches, but food waste and shingles and all that type of stuff that's just garbage at this point, so that we don't have issues with animals and stuff in and around our homes.
Right. Well, thanks for taking time. I know it's a very busy time for you, and it will be in the coming weeks as well. Hey, no better time to be a mayor. You get through a pandemic, and then this hits as well. Just an incredible amount, incredible time. And by the way, passing along, I was talking to some of the local merchants and local citizens. A thank you for helping guide the township of Uxbridge through this as well.
Well, thanks, Dan. I still have the best job in the world because everyone steps up to help, and we're all in this together for sure.
And if Georgina residents are looking for to help out, wait for a bit, and the local organizations, no doubt, will be reaching out to people for some help in the future. Dave, again, thanks for your time.
Hey, thanks, Dan. All the best.
Take care. Bye-bye. That is the mayor of the township of Uxbridge, and for those who haven't seen the news, just a complete devastation. And as Dave said, we both have grown up in that area, and I could not believe that the devastation that was wreaked upon the area on Saturday. Just places are destroyed, and the last count was 10 to 18 buildings that may end up being condemned because of the incident. And as Dave said, it's not that you haven't seen this in the past, but it's usually hitting in rural areas. But this hit the urban area in the township of Uxbridge. And for those who know, the Second Wedge Brewery completely destroyed by the incident. And I was talking to the owner, Joanne Richter, on Saturday right after it happened. She happened to be at a family function in Montreal. She said her husband and the dog were sitting in the upstairs in the office when the roof came off. Somehow, thank goodness, no injuries reported. But if you've seen the devastation from the Second Wedge Brewery, you can appreciate how thankful they are that no one was injured in that. And stay tuned. We'll keep you up to date on any relief efforts.
This is CKOU, the new KCountry 93.7, today's best country and a part of the Torres Media family.